First of all, Ernest, I would like to start off by giving a shout out to FYF Sports Debates Podcast. I really love that podcast. I really do.
FYF Sports. Salute to you guys. Let me get my camera. Camera on freeze already. Come on, camera. Come on, camera. Salute to everybody pulling up today. Let me fix this camera real quick, you guys. All right, I think we got it. All right, I think we got it right there. Salute to everybody pulling up. FYF Sports, man. Big show today. NBA playoffs is here. Just Lamont got the Lakers winning today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, but what we're going to do here is I'm going to lock in because it seems like every time I go back and I'm talking to people about playoff predictions and things of that nature, a lot of people say, oh, you picked this, oh, you picked that. And I'm like, okay, we're going to actually lock all of our picks in. All right, we're going to use the NBA Pick'em Bracket Challenge to lock all of our picks in, to give you guys my projections on not just these play-in games, but my projections on who's going to be in the finals and who I believe gets to the finals altogether. We're going to be talking about that. All of that today here on FYF Sports, man. Appreciate you guys pulling up. My apologies for not being going live as much. As a lot of you guys know, we're winding our season down at Grand Canyon University. And so as we try to wind that season down, man, as we work to wind that season down, man, we sometimes have to take a break from going live. But we about to amp up and ramp up all the lives. We got to get back to it. And we're going to get back to it with all this NBA talk. We got Ricky E245 in the chat. He says, what up, bro? He says Suns versus Clippers going to be the best series. It could potentially be. I think the Suns versus Clippers series is the most intriguing because you have the names, right? Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, maybe Paul George is back, Russell Westbrook. You have the names, but I think that series is going to be a foregone conclusion. I don't know if that series is going to be as competitive as what it looks like it might be on paper. But we're going to be talking about that today. Salute to Terrible Christian Gamer. He says, salute, bro. Dubs winning it all. That's a very good potential. We're going to be breaking all that down today as well. All right, we're going to be looking at the percentages. When we start really talking about, and I think similar to the NCAA tournament, we're going to see an NBA playoff similar to the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of things that happened at the beginning of the year that paved the way for teams that we didn't think would be in the conversation to be higher seeds. And so the seeding is kind of mixed up and kind of jumbled up a bit. I don't know at the start of the season if a ton of people had Denver being the number 1 seed in the West. I don't know if a lot of people had that. I think a lot of people looked at the success that Memphis had last year, and they said, okay, based on the success that you have last year, we're going to predict you. I was a believer in the Grizzlies potentially sliding a little bit, maybe dropping down to being one of the lower seeded teams. They were actually able to hold the fort down and keep that number 2 seed in the West. So we're gonna be getting to that bracket, man. We're gonna be getting to that bracket. We're gonna be talking about all those things. Salute to Prince Legends, to Lamont, who you had winning it all at the start of the season. I don't think I picked somebody to win it all at the start of the season. I think I picked 2 teams that I thought would come out the West. I don't want to say I remember who I had coming out the West. I believe I might have either had the Warriors or the Lakers. And then in the East, I might have had Boston. I can't remember the teams I picked at the beginning of the season. But that's why we go into our bracket challenge, so we can lock it in. So we can always come back and revisit what the picks were and compare that to what happened, man. So definitely appreciate you guys. I'm going to give it a few more. I'm probably going to give you guys about 45 more seconds before we switch over to our pick'em bracket challenge board, where we're gonna actually go in there and make our picks. And then I'm gonna try, because like I said, we're not gonna be live too long tonight. But when I make these picks as these teams progress through each round, I really want to at least try to give some type of educated explanation as to why I believe it's something like this is gonna happen. And then we're also, obviously, we got to pick our play-in winners. We got 2 play-in games today: the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. And then you also have the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawks, that matchup right there. Very intriguing, because in a one-and-done setting, I can see Atlanta beating the Miami Heat. Even though I would believe that Miami is probably the favorite to come out that game. In these one-and-done games, when you have a player like Trae Young, that can change. And then now it turns into more of an NCAA tournament style game, as opposed to what the better team actually winning. And so I can see an outcome tonight where maybe Atlanta wins and they get in. And then Miami has to fight their way in the second game. And then we also have that Laker game. We have the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I think the Minnesota Timberwolves would have had an advantage going into that particular matchup if McDaniels wasn't hurt and if Rudy Gobert would have found a way to stay healthy. And we saw how impactful Rudy Gobert was in their last matchup. Now that Rudy Gobert has found himself suspended because he punched his own teammate in the final game of the season. I don't know what's going on over there, what type of internal dysfunction is happening. But this Rudy Gobert trade is panning out to be a nightmare for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It has not worked out the way they wanted. And I think it all started with Karl Anthony Towns being hurt. Karl Anthony Towns being injured is really what decimated and hurt this team the most. And we're going to have to see how all of this stuff pans out here. And I'm looking forward to checking it out. He says, Prince Legend says, hold on. We got Thunder. We got OJ Weston in here. He says it's going to be a tough one for the A. Thunder. He says the Nuggets might get bounced unless Jamal Murray gets possessed by. I don't know. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a really good team. Lamont, you think he deserved the suspension? Now, Prince Legend. Now, here's the thing with these suspensions, especially when these suspensions are internal and when they don't come from the NBA, but when they come from the team. So, Prince Legend, when we talk about Rudy Gobert's suspension, before we cry conspiracy, let's look at it like this. When you look at the dysfunction that's been going on that Minnesota Timberwolves bench, I first have to sit back and ask myself, do I believe that this is the first incident that's happened with Rudy Gobert and other players on that team? And if it's not the first incident, have the Timberwolves warned Rudy Gobert about stepping to his own teammates, about putting his hands on his teammates? All right. Have they talked to him about this, and did what he did it cross the threshold and then equate to a suspension based on the things that he's done in the past? I don't know if the Minnesota Timberwolves, knowing that they're going into a play-in game, saw what happened with Rudy Gobert in their bench and just said, we're going to suspend without looking at a history of events that might have led up to that particular incident right there. So I have to say that is justified because I think Rudy Gobert, if he's willing to, on live TV, step up and punch his teammate, he's probably done it in the locker room when cameras are not on as well. And so I would have to say that it's justified, but it's also a combination of some things to come for the Timberwolves. I believe that they've tried to find a way to get off of Rudy Gobert this summer. I think it's a failed experiment. The pairing, I mean, conceptually, it sounds good when you put him with Karl Anthony Towns. It hasn't panned out the way they wanted it, and especially since they made no effort at the beginning of the year to bring in a legitimate point guard to run the ship. If they would have went out and got a Brunson or early before this disaster even started, if they would have got a guy that was vocal in the locker room that can lead at the point position, maybe it would have worked then. But they made no initiative to do those things. And so they've kind of created this situation that they're in. They've created it, and now they gotta lie in it. Salute to One Cool P. Appreciate you pulling up. We got Aaron Frazier. He says, if the Gobert punch didn't happen live in a game, he doesn't get suspended. Probably so. But Aaron Frazier, when things happen on live TV, that changes. That changes the magnitude of certain things. Right? We saw how the running back with the Ravens, I forget his name, is on the tip of my tongue. But we saw how the NFL treated his punishment. But when the video came out, the punishment completely changed. Video and doing things publicly completely changes everything. Media backlash, fan backlash, all these things, all these perceptions change and are a factor in your punishments. But I do agree. Ray DeRousseau, facts. And salute to Tiffany Nana in chat. So I do agree. If this would have happened in practice, we don't know about it. And we play on and they just get through it. But unfortunately, it happened on the bench. It's a bad look for the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's a bad look for that organization. It's a bad look for that coaching staff. And it's a bad look to have your highest paid player, your supposed leader of the team, your supposed player that you traded absolutely everything for, to be taking punches at another player on the bench. I don't know. To me, I just can't believe that this is the first time something like this happened. I believe that they warned him, and they said if it happens again, you're going to get suspended, and it ultimately ended up happening again. I just don't believe it was the first time. And we know the Timberwolves aren't going to come out and speak on things that happen in private. They're just going to take action. So I have to say it's fair. Salute to Dante Williams in the chat. Nicholas Brown, one of the top moderators of the channel. Salute to A-Sturdy. A-Sturdy, I'm going to be shooting you an email today. Appreciate you guys pulling in here, man. Right, as this chat fills up. As we get more and more people in here, we're going to be switching over to our Pick'em Bracket Challenge, primarily so we can lock our picks in. And I can kind of talk my way through how I get to the two teams that I select to get to the NBA Finals. We're also going to be talking about these play-in matchups, right? So like I said, that Heat and Hawks matchup is going to be very tricky. Not only is the Heat and Hawks matchup very tricky, this Laker matchup can be tricky as well. We've seen over the last week or so, we've seen the Lakers struggle with teams that are shorthanded. They struggled with the Suns to a certain degree. They struggle with the Jazz both times to a certain degree. They cannot contain the shooting guard position whatsoever. They don't have any defensive stoppers on the perimeter. They allow guards to get into the paint too easily. If Minnesota finds a way to consistently get into the paint and attack the middle of the Lakers defense all night, just like the Jazz did, just like all of the low-level teams that were able to compete with the Lakers Just like they were able to. If we look at a guard like Chris Dunn with the Utah Jazz, what was Chris Dunn doing to the Lakers? He was waltzing into the middle of the lane, either hitting floaters or kicking it out to corner 3-point shooters. The Lakers are still they still defend with very lackadaisical effort on the 3-point line. Right? Are they going to allow a team to get hot on them? They can't afford it right now. They're going to have to be able to defend the 3-point line from start to finish. Do we trust them to do that? Right? And then we have to look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Their backs are against the wall. They're going to be fighting tooth and nail to get this win. And then I think the number one factor is, when is LeBron James going to get out of this casual mode that he's been in? He's been playing very casually. He doesn't seem very focused or locked in. When is he going to lock in and look like a guy that's determined to get to the Western Conference Finals? I haven't seen that these last couple of weeks out of LeBron. I've seen a guy that's been content with a lot of flashy plays, camera plays, poses, this, that, and other, but I haven't seen a guy that looks like he's locked in trying to go win. I mean, I know that's just talking points, that's just narratives and all that, but that's just my perception of what I've been seeing these last couple of weeks. I just don't like the body language coming from the Laker roster. Right? Very stagnant. The only thing LeBron's been doing, he hasn't been running offense. The only thing he does is he's been holding the ball on the wing, trying to create for himself, or he'll hold it, and dump it into AD and tell AD to hit a miracle fadeaway jump shot. And then people start to wonder why AD can't score in the post. All right. The health of Dennis Schroeder is going to be key as well in this Laker game as well. So there's a lot of things that we have to take into consideration for this matchup. Neither one of these matchups are sealed. It's a lot of potential for some things to happen here. I think Dennis was dealing with some back issues, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's dealing with some back issues. But so we'll see how he is. But at the end of the day, they still have D'Angelo Russell. So I don't think the injury to Schroeder and you can tell that back issue's been really bothering Dennis Schroeder, because over the last couple of games, he has not been able to defend whatsoever. He cannot defend. Oh, his neck. That's what it was, Trey 82. My bad. I thought it was new as neck or back or something. But you guys, I can tell something's not right, because he's not defending at any level right now. He's not defending at all. He says, I think the Lakers are going to pull it out tonight. They win by 7 or 8. I mean, the Lakers are the favorites. If I'm a betting person, if I have to go with it, if I just have to, my gut feeling is that AD's going to take advantage of Gobert not being there. I think Darvin Ham's going to find a way to get more creative with getting AD touches early to get them going. I think the Lakers are going to win the edge rebounding the basketball, and that's what's going to help propel them to the win. Lakers are a better matchup for Denver. Nah, I mean, right now, Memphis is just as good of a matchup for the Lakers. Right? Let's not get fooled. I think Memphis is a really good job. They play with a ton of energy. And they have one of the best weapons if you want to beat this Laker team. I don't know. When you get these young teams in the playoffs and then you have LeBron James and AD, I mean, you got to think. I mean, LeBron James, they're going to be playing it smart. They're only going to go in. They're going to try to steal one in Memphis. Once they steal one in Memphis, they're going to try to win that first one at home, and they're really going to start to really apply some pressure. And I think somebody else said this on another panel. They're going to have to, if Memphis wants to beat the Lakers, they're going to have to do it in 4 or 5 games. They cannot sit there and go 1-1 at home with the Lakers and let this drug out to be a 6-7 game series. That's going to be advantage Lakers right there, especially if the Lakers can stay healthy. All right. Lakers going all the way, Chief. I mean, boy, they got a tough road, man. They're gonna have to get better significantly over the next week or so before I can say with confidence that I think they can get back to the finals. They just don't. They have the talent. They just haven't played with enough discipline to get there. They don't defend consistently enough. Like, we're not, like, when I keep hearing people talk about the playoffs and teams that they think are going to get far, nobody's giving credit to the teams that defend consistently. Nobody's giving the Cavs a shot. Everybody keeps saying the Sixers are going to choke. But these are the teams that are defending consistently, and they've done so this year. I mean, we're going to get to, hold on, let me go. Let's go ahead and get to our bracket challenge, man. We're going to talk about these matchups, y'all. Talk about these matchups. Salute to Scorpion in the chat, man. Dante Williams, he says 1 game at a time. Yeah, well, the Lakers, they better wake up. They better wake up today, because I'm not writing this Minnesota Timberwolves team off. Like I said, I'm picking the Lakers to win, but I will not be surprised if Minnesota wins. I'm telling you guys that right now. I'm picking the Lakers to win, but I will not be surprised if Minnesota keeps this game close and then breaks away in that 3 to 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter where the Lakers struggle mightily to execute late game. Terrible Christian Gamer says the Lakers sweep Denver. Young Goat, he says he's going to be an X factor. Salute. Young Goat says, I feel like Austin Reeves is going to get money tonight. I mean, I hope he does. This is all going to be relegated on if LeBron James is not stopping the ball and killing offensive possessions by just being stagnant on one side of the floor, which becomes easy to defend. All right, we're going to get to some of these matchups. We're going to start up here, okay? We got Denver versus the 8 seed, right? I don't believe the Lakers get this 8 seed. I believe the Lakers get the 7th spot and play Memphis. But the one team that I think the one team that's been playing the best and can get that 8th spot, I'm going to go with the New Orleans Pelicans. I think CJ, Brandon Ingram, those guys, they've been playing well enough. I believe that they can pull it off and get the wins necessary to get that 8th spot. So I'm going to go with Denver at the 1, New Orleans Pelicans at the 8 for my first round matchup. So when I go to this matchup right here, I believe that Denver wins this matchup. I say that Denver wins and they beat the Pelicans and they win this one in 6. I believe that the Pelicans going up against the Denver Nuggets, I think they're going to make it interesting. I believe they can be good enough to win one in Denver. But I think when Denver settles in, I think Jokic really is the guy that they don't have anybody to defend. I believe that Valanciunas is also out for them. And so if Valanciunas is out and no Zion, they just don't stand a shot to beat them. But I believe New Orleans makes it, they make it entertaining. Denver wins in 6. We got Phoenix and the Clippers. We got Phoenix and the Clippers. In this one right here, in this series right here, I believe that the Clippers are just severely undermanned. And I just don't know how long without Paul George they can put up this facade like they're a good team. Right? I know there's a lot of Clipper fans that want to act like this is going to be competitive, but the talent gap is too big. The talent gap between Ayton and Zubac is too big. KD and Kawhi Leonard is too big. Devin Booker and Russell Westbrook is too big. And we haven't even talked about Chris Paul and other guys in the depth of the Phoenix Suns team. I just think the Suns are just going to be too good. I got the Suns winning this in 5. The Suns move on. I just don't think it's going to be competitive. All right, as good as Kawhi Leonard is, Kawhi Leonard still hasn't looked like that guy that can take over games and win playoff games. He may very well do it. But with Kevin Durant on the Suns roster now, they won't go into those 3 to 5 minute stretches of not being able to score. Not when you have KD on your team. So I got Phoenix winning in 5, sending the Clippers home. Obviously, great way to salvage the season for the Clippers through all the ups and downs. I just don't think they have enough to beat the Phoenix Suns. We got the Sacramento Kings Golden State Warriors series. Now, this is a matchup battle right here. As good as Sacramento has been all year, you can't out the Golden State Warriors. You can't do what the Golden State Warriors do better, right? You can't out Golden State. They're a baby version of Golden State with the way they run offense. you're not going to do Golden State better than themselves. And when we're talking about them getting Wiggins back, if Wiggins comes back and he's in shape and he's ready to go, which I believe he is based on the reports that I'm hearing, I believe they're going to be able to defend at a high level. All right. Wiggins is that guy that can defend the De'Aaron Foxes when he gets into that lane. Right. He can make up for Jordan Poole's bad defense. And you still got Draymond. Draymond, I think he can contain Sabonis to a certain degree. And I have Golden State. I have Golden State winning this one in 6. I believe Golden State. Now, again, like I said, Sacramento, it's going to be tough to go in there. It's going to be tough to go in there. And we know how undisciplined, sometimes they can have those games where Golden State just have these letdown moments or games. And as they look now, y'all, don't be surprised if Golden State beats Sacramento in 4 or 5. That wouldn't surprise me. But for now, I'll give a little bit of respect to the Sacramento Kings. I'm just going to say that Golden State wins in 6. I believe Sac can steal 2 games some way, shape, or form. But I believe late in this series, Golden State wakes up and they move on. Terrible Christian Gamer says Kuminga is becoming a great defender. Yeah, Kuminga's starting to come into his own. There's a reason why they were super reluctant to trade him at the trade deadline. Basically said he was untouchable, and he's starting to show why. All right, we got this series right here. I believe that the Lakers win tonight. They should win tonight. Memphis versus the Lakers in this first round matchup, and this is where it gets tricky, you guys. All right. So the one thing, and I was listening to a sports bettor. I was listening to a sports bettor on a channel called Odds Jam earlier today. And he said the one reason people who place bets lose so much is because they bet with their feelings. And they don't use the facts that are sitting right there in front of them. If I go with the emotional pick is going to say, as a fan, pick LeBron, pick AD. But what I've been seeing from the Lakers over the last week or so has been scaring me. The lackadaisical effort, the nobody on the perimeter is willing to stop guys from getting into the middle of the lane. Memphis has one of the best guards with regards to getting into the middle of the lane. And once he gets to the middle of the lane, he's dynamic. He can score. He can play make from there. They have guys like Desmond Bane who they can kick the ball out, who can shoot. Dylan Brooks has been shooting the ball much better. And Jaren Jackson can also shoot the 3 ball as well. And we're talking about a team that looks a little bit more locked in. Now, this prediction might be wrong. And the unfortunate reality is my feelings, I would hope that this pick that I'm about to make is wrong. I would love to see the Lakers move on in the second round against the Golden State Warriors. Unfortunate reality is the Lakers don't look like a team that's ready to get out the first round. They're too undisciplined. LeBron James not fully locked in. The offense is too stagnant. And when they get punched in the mouth, they don't know how to respond. They don't have the offensive firepower to respond, and they don't have the defensive fortitude to get enough stops to come back when the deficits are large. We've seen them come back from deficits, but every deficit, most of the most recent deficits that we've seen them get down and actually come back and win, those were games when LeBron James was hurt and he wasn't on the floor, and it was Schroeder running the ship, and AD was the best player on the floor. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to pick with my feelings. I got to go with the Memphis Grizzlies, y'all. And I say the Memphis Grizzlies beat the Lakers in 6 games. And like I said, I'll revisit this and I'll take the L on this. I got to go off what I've been seeing as of late. And it just ain't good. Right? No, and Kirk Royce, I don't want to put that on anybody. I don't believe AD gets hurt. I just believe that there's a certain level of energy, effort, and intensity you got to come with in the playoffs. And if you haven't shown me that you have it, then I can't ride with you right now. Now, like I said with some of my other picks, will I be surprised if the Lakers find a way to win this series? No. But based on what I've seen if they continue to play the way they have been, because in the NBA, you guys, in basketball, it is very hard to just switch it on and switch it off. You either are doing something consistently or you're not. You're either a good defensive team or you're not. You're either a good three-point shooting team or you're not. You don't really just flick switches in the game of basketball when you want to turn it on and just get better. It just don't work like that. Not in the game of basketball. Unfortunately, I got to take Memphis winning that. And that's just the smart pick. All right. Now, if I'm doing some betting on sports books and things like that, I might take the risk. That's a good bet. But that's an emotional bet to take the Lakers. It's not a smart bet to take the Lakers against the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, if they were playing Denver, if they were playing Sacramento, the matchups then would favor the Lakers. But I don't think the matchups here favor the Lakers. And it's primarily because Ja Morant's number one ability is to get to the middle of the lane and pick teams apart from there. And the Lakers have absolutely no ball stoppers. All right. Kirk Roy says Memphis athleticism is too alert. Eric Elam, he says the Lakers have a lackadaisical moments. All the facts. That's what I said. They play lackadaisical. Sometimes it looks like they don't care that they losing. Right. I don't see them playing with that desperation that they really, really trying to go after it and win. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but that's not what they showing me. All right, we're going to move on to the Eastern. We're going to move on to the Eastern Conference for the first round in the Eastern Conference right here. And again, salute to everybody pulling up to the chat today. Appreciate you guys being here. We get them likes up, y'all. I think we have 40 likes. Let's get them likes up. We should be able to get up to 200 likes today. All right, let's get up to 200 likes. Let me check these likes real quick. Let me just update it to make sure we're at the right number. Let me see. How many likes? Somebody put it, one of the mods, put in the chat what you're saying because my phone's taking a long time to load. How many likes we got? All right, yeah, we at 40 likes, y'all. 40 likes. Let's get them likes up. So, okay, salute. Yeah, let's get them likes. Run them likes up to about 200, man. It's enough people in here to run them likes up. Let's run them likes up. All right. I know I haven't been live in a minute, but it all goes a long way in helping push these videos in the algorithm, especially when we go live. Salute to Star Child. Salute to Sturdy. Everybody in there. All right. So we in the Eastern Conference now. Eastern Conference, Milwaukee Bucks, and I believe that the Milwaukee Bucks are potentially going to end up playing the Miami Heat in the first round. I believe the Miami Heat win tonight. I believe they take care of business. Now, Milwaukee, the number one question is because everybody just thinks this is just a foregone conclusion. But this is the absolute worst potential 8 seed that Milwaukee can play. Especially if Chris Middleton, if his health is up in the air. They said he's going to rehab and they're potentially going to have him back. But I got this matchup right here. I got the Bucks winning. But I got the Bucks winning in 7 versus the Miami Heat. I don't think it's going to be easy. I believe the Bucks win solely because they have home court advantage. But I believe the Heat force this to 7 games and really make it tough. Another series right here where, because this is one of those weird years where the Miami Heat, who should, in a normal year, I would have projected them to be 4 to 5 seed. They're down there 8. But the Bucks are going to be on upset alert, y'all. The Bucks are going, if they have to play, the Bucks are going to blow out Toronto, Chicago, Atlanta. If they have to play any one of those teams, if they have to play any one of those teams, it's a wrap. They're going to blow them out. But if they have to play the Miami Heat. Oh, hold on. He says, Lamont. He said, if they win, they play the Celtics. Okay. I'm tripping. My bad, y'all. Let me get this right. Okay, so Miami, I project them to be the 7th seed. I'm sorry, y'all. So I got Miami as the 7th seed. I clicked the wrong button on my screen. And so if that means I would put Atlanta there, and because I believe Atlanta, actually, I believe Chicago would win out. I believe Chicago would be the best team out of those two. I believe Chicago beats Toronto, and I believe Chicago beats Atlanta. But I also believe the Bucks would destroy Chicago. That matchup just kills them. So I'll give the Bucks in 6 versus the Chicago Bulls. Just a bad matchup. DeMar DeRozan and those guys just cannot defend well enough. And without Lonzo Ball to lead their defense, they don't have any defensive presence on the perimeter. So I got to go right there with the Bucks. So my bad about that. Bucks easy in the first round. Let's go with the Bucks right there. Let's go right here. We got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. Another interesting series, y'all. But is it truly interesting? Remember, these playoff series is about how well you can score the ball, but not just how well you can score the ball. How well can you defend? We're talking about the best defensive team in the league with also 2 of the best scoring guards in the league. And you're talking about Evan Mobley, who's playing some of the best basketball he's played all year right now. I got the Cavs winning this easy in 5. I got the Cavs sending the Knicks home in 5. None of these matchups favor the Knicks. Julius Randle, just what he does best, he's got to do what he does best against 2 of the best bigs defensively in the league, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I just think what the Knicks do best is just going to collide with what Cleveland does best. And it's not going to give them much wiggle room to win that potential series. I got Cleveland moving on to play the Bucks. We got Philadelphia and the Brooklyn Nets. And I heard somebody on some other channel really trying to make a case, some conspiracy theory case for the Brooklyn Nets. But you guys, y'all, Philly's going to sweep the Brooklyn Nets. It's not going to be close. I don't care how many stories y'all concoct about Mikal Bridges being a star now. Mikal Bridges is not that dude. Mikal Bridges will never be a number 1 guy on a good NBA basketball team. Not on a team that's fighting to win a championship. At most, Mikal Bridges will be a 3, just like he was with the Suns. But the things that you're seeing from him now are simply because he's the only option that they have. But he's not a reliable option in the playoffs against a Philadelphia 76er team who's one of the best defensive teams in the league. I don't know why people are really and truly giving Brooklyn a chance. This ain't going to be close. Philly is going to sweep the Brooklyn Nets. And it's not going to be close. We got Boston and Miami. And, tricky one right here, y'all. You know, because it's the Eastern Conference, y'all. Because I've already came out and stated to you guys that I believe this is going to be the NBA playoffs is going to mirror what we saw in the NCAA tournament. I got Miami being that 7th seed. And I got Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat out coaching the rookie head coach and the Boston Celtics in the first round. I see a lot of clovers in the chat. But I got the Miami Heat in 7 games. Sending Boston Celtics home in the first round with more questions than answers. This Miami Heat team is deeper than a lot of people give them credit for. They still have Bam Adebayo. Jimmy Butler's playing some of his best basketball. They're still one of the best defensive teams in the league. And they have the coaching edge. I'm probably going to be wrong, y'all. I know. But I got to take an upset somewhere, and where other than to pick the upset. And you got to think, Boston's a vulnerable team. Let's not act like they've been playing the most beautiful basketball right now. They haven't. Let's not act like it's a foregone conclusion. They're just going to run through the Miami Heat. As a lot of y'all are just saying that because of the record. I don't know if y'all. I don't know if I'm going off who Miami is in the playoffs. Devontae says Miami's offense is trash. Okay, if their offense is so trash, they came within 1 3-pointer of beating this same Celtic team last year. It can't be that trash. Jimmy Butler makes a 3. We're having a different conversation. Jared says, if you can't score, you can't win. Heat got awful. Why do y'all just say this? All right. Y'all say this. And the Heat, if anybody can figure it out on the fly, it's the Heat. I'm taking the Heat over the Celtics. 7 games, man. We're going to go back up to the second round. We're going to get to the rest of these playoffs right here. Denver, Phoenix, y'all. We're going to try to speed through these because I don't want to keep y'all too long. I know that Miami Heat game's about to come on, so I want y'all to lock in on that game, so I ain't going to keep y'all too long here. We got the Denver Nuggets versus the Phoenix Suns. Great season for Jokic. MVP candidate. He's going to run into a Phoenix Sun team. He's going to run into a Phoenix Sun team with just a little too much firepower. Now, for the Phoenix Suns, Ayton's going to have to figure out. Ayton's basically going to have to sacrifice all of his scoring against Denver and just say, my goal this series is to be a defensive stopper. Because Jokic, throughout the duration of their careers, has completely owned Ayton. And it hasn't even been close. But I think the Suns are clicking at the right time with their trio on the court. They haven't lost a game. They're 8-0. I'm going with Phoenix to beat the Denver Nuggets in 7. I think Denver can force it 7 games. But I think Phoenix and Kevin Durant get it done in a game 7 in Denver. I just don't know if I have Denver going past this round right here. I don't have them going past this round. And let's say, for example, the Lakers lose and the Lakers have to play again and they end up getting an 8 seed. Denver could potentially be out in the first round. I just don't think they match up very well with AD and the Lakers. Second round matchup, as you guys see, I had the Lakers falling and losing to the Memphis Grizzlies. I have Memphis Grizzlies moving on to play the Golden State Warriors after the Golden State Warriors beat the Sacramento Kings. We got B. Pierce. He says, I'm high. Now I'm high. How am I high? How am I high? I'm trying to add a little bit of logic to all my picks. Right? These are just my projections. Like, if I would have, if before the NCAA tournament started, and if I would have drew up the perfect bracket with San Diego State and them boys in the Final Four, y'all would have said the same thing. Lamont is high. But then look what happened. We got a lot of this stuff. We all going to be wrong to some degree. We're all going to be wrong to some degree in one of these rounds, right? I'm just willing to, I'm trying not to overcomplicate it. I'm trying not to go with chalk and just pick the percentages, pick going off the records, because it don't necessarily work like that. But I got the Warriors and the Grizzlies. Now, this is going to be a grudge match. A grudge match. Memphis is going to be trying to get their get back. It's going to be a battle from last year. These two teams will be going at it. But I think because of the grudge match factor, this is where Memphis can lose their composure. And this is where they start to falter. When they get into these personal tiffs and battles with another team. And that's where Golden State's able to exploit their weaknesses. So I got Golden State winning this one in 6. I got them moving on to play the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals. Let's get down here. Second round, we got Milwaukee Bucks and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm going to stick with what I've been saying all year, right? I'm going to stick with what I've been saying all year. We've been completely disrespecting teams that can defend. We've been completely disrespecting teams that can defend at a high level. If Middleton's not back healthy, which there's nothing out there that suggests to me that Middleton's going to be 100%, advantage goes to Cleveland on the perimeter. And if there's any team that has the players, the defensive players like Okoro, Mobley, and Jared Allen that could potentially build some type of wall to slow up Giannis, it would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we've seen how Donovan Mitchell likes to hit a switch and play on another level in the playoffs. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 7-game upset of the Milwaukee Bucks, eliminating the MVP of the league in Giannis Antetokounmpo, who I believe will be the MVP this year. And I believe the Cleveland Cavaliers send them home. And this is not a very surprising upset. This is not a surprising upset because you're talking about a team with the best perimeter scoring on the league. When you look at how Donovan Mitchell's been playing, MVP candidate, and they have the best interior defense in the league to combat what Giannis Antetokounmpo does. This series is going to come down to how well for Milwaukee the others can make shots. And we've seen what happens to that Buck team when you have to rely on the Grayson Allens and the Pat Connaughtons, right? And these others standing around the perimeter to make shots. Kirk Royce says, I disagree. Bucks win. I know that's chalk. But if I'm going with what works in the playoffs, defense and who has the better individual scores, who has more and better individual scores. The Bucks have more scores on multiple levels. I mean, the Cavs have more scoring on multiple levels. The Bucks have Giannis, but the Cavs have Mobley and Jared Allen to negate that. Jared says, how important is this playoff for LeBron's legacy? LeBron's legacy is already set, Jared. Unless LeBron hauls off and actually, like the only things that matter to LeBron now, the only things that can impact LeBron James now is more finals wins or losses. If it's not a finals win or loss, it's not going to have an impact. If he loses in the first round with this Laker team, nobody's going to care. But if he's able to get this Laker team, who everybody was down on the beginning of the year, and that actually reminds me too, because there was a guy by the name of Jamel Casino who bet me $200 that the Lakers wouldn't make the play-in, and the Lakers are sitting in the play-in, and I told this man in the comments, he had come back, he would come every month, he would drop comments saying, you're going to have to pay me that $200. I said, you know what's going to happen? I said, when the Lakers make the play-in, you're going to disappear. You're going to disappear, and you're going to be nowhere to be found when it's time to pay and hit the Cash App. So if Jamel Casino if he's listening, we're going to see if he actually pays. I doubt it, because ever since the Lakers made the play-in, he's mysteriously stopped commenting on all my videos. He's nowhere to be found, as I predicted. That reminds me, too, I got to make another payment to Mac Def, too, man. Mac Def, you got to let me know where I'm at on them payments, man. Salute to True to King TV. True to King, just so you know, True to King, we're going to get you updated, True to King. I have your Boston Celtics losing in the first round to the Miami Heat in 7 games. I believe Jimmy Butler gets his get back. Just so you know, True to King. All right. But it is what it is. So like I said, I have Cleveland beating Milwaukee. We're going to have Philly going up against Miami in this second round. I got Philly winning this one in 5. All right. So I have Philly, again, just one of the most dominant teams. I have them beating the Miami Heat very easily. Miami, they have enough in the gas tank to get past the first round. Don't know if they have enough to get through Joel Embiid and James Harden. Instinct Takes. He said this play-in playoffs are going to be all. Yeah, it is, man. It is. Twan says Lakers 76ers 2023 NBA Finals. Unfortunately, Twan Gant, I have the Lakers losing in the first round to the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, like I said, I would love to see the Lakers move on. The logic of basketball tells me they won't beat the Memphis Grizzlies, right? So it is what it is there. So we got our Final Four teams set. All right, I got the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. Eastern Conference Finals, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Philadelphia 76ers. Interesting matchup right here with the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. The 4 seed versus the 6. Golden State's been struggling to win games all year. But Golden State is getting Andrew Wiggins back. Jordan Poole has been playing lights out basketball. Steph Curry is looking like he's just on another level shooting the basketball. Draymond Green's still defending at a high level. And I know I know it's been repetitive because they've just been so good for so long. But even with the addition of Kevin Durant, I just don't see them having enough firepower to outpace this Golden State Warrior team. Because Golden State can defend when the shots are not falling, right? And they can score with the best of them. If you're just making everything, they can make enough shots to stay right with you. I got Golden State beating the Phoenix Suns in 6. I believe they close them out. LBJ fan Lamont, he says, "Are you serious? What do you mean, am I serious? What is wrong with my picks? Like, are my picks that outlandish? How are my picks that crazy?" I got Golden State moving on. Never stops his Golden State. If you think Golden State's losing in the first round, I would probably bet money on that. Yeah, if KD loses to Golden State, bro, he's gonna receive the wrath from so many players. Man, he's gonna receive wrath. So, also, let's go to Eastern Conference. In the Eastern Conference Finals, I got Cleveland Cavaliers, Philadelphia 76ers. And this is one of those years. I've talked about this a lot. When you talk about a team that can play multiple styles, fast, slow. They can play from the outside in, inside out. They got interior defense. They got perimeter defense. You talking about a team with no holes compared to this Cleveland team where they struggle on wings. They don't have wing depth at all. They have small guards who can score. They're dynamic scorers. How dynamic can they be against this Philadelphia 76ers defense? I don't know. But I have Philly beating the Cleveland Cavaliers. 3 seed beating the 4, and I have them winning in 6 games. I have the Philadelphia 76ers moving on to the NBA Finals. LBJ fan says a Philly Laker final, book it. I don't know why y'all keep getting the Lakers going to the finals. Like, the Lakers have not shown me anything that would suggest that they're going to the NBA Finals. I really hope that they prove me wrong. I just don't see it. Salute to Cook Sports. He said, "What up, Lamont?" Salute to Cook Sports, man, in the chat, man. We got Christian James Calderon. He says, "If KD loses to the Dubs, yikes." That's a fact, man. That's a fact. Hey, salute to Taj as well, man. One of the top mods of the channel. Appreciate you pulling up, Taj, man. You know, while we doing these, man, before y'all leave today, make sure y'all stop by, hit the Cash App, support the channel, man. We will be going live more. We're going to be covering the entire NBA playoffs. All right, we had to get our predictions in before these games started. The Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawk game, if it hasn't started, it's going to be starting soon. Y'all not going to want to miss it. I'm not going to hold y'all too much longer. I want y'all over there watching these games, evaluating, all right? I'm also going to be on Player's Choice tonight after the play-in games are over. So make sure y'all tune in to Player's Choice tonight. They're going to be having a late show. They're going to be having a late stream after both of these play-in games are over. They've invited me on, man, to give my take on what's happening. Devontae says, "Lamont, might have to open my eyes to the Cavs. I haven't watched." You know, the one thing that opened my eyes, Devontae, is that, you know, I've been going to Phoenix Suns games this year. And I always tell people, if you have the opportunity to do so, sit courtside. Because it's going to give you a different perception of these teams than what you might see on TV. And when I watched the Cleveland Cavaliers play, and I know at the time that they played the Suns were just really shorthanded and they were missing a lot of guys. But I watched, one, how easily they scored a basketball. They scored a basketball with ease. Garland is one of the best just natural scorers in the league. Donovan Mitchell is just one of the best natural scorers in the league. They both can score on all 3 levels. They can get to the rim. They can make the mid-range. They all can make the 3. Okoro is now a much improved 3-point shooter. And they have Jared Allen and Mobley, who both run the floor extremely well as bigs, and they both defend at a high level. When I watched them play, I said, this is a team that can win it all. LBJ fans, you said you picked the Heat over the Celtics. I know. It's fine. It's just a pick. It's fine. It's just one pick. Do I have to just go chalk? We're talking about a Heat team that was one shot away from beating this same Celtic team last year. Irregardless of what you think about the records. If that Jimmy Butler shot goes down, and like I said, we're having a different conversation. We got Keb. He says LA Lakers will win the chip against the Sixers. I don't know. Tough one. I just don't see the Lakers getting that far. He says Cavs have the best backup point guard in Ricky Rubio. I almost forgot he was on that team. He said, yeah, it's not the same Celtic team, but even though they've added a few different pieces, like Malcolm Brogdon, they haven't changed their style of play. When I say they're the same team, it's literally the same style, the same plays, the same reads, the same options, the same two stars, playing the same two styles. They added Brogdon, but they haven't used Brogdon. I don't think they've used Brogdon to his maximum potential. And there's no way they're going to be using Brogdon to his maximum potential, especially if you're not starting him. He's a good piece, but they're not using him like he's a huge piece. So I'm not going to go into any series factoring Brogdon in as a huge piece when they don't even use him in that way. So like I said here, I got a finals of Golden State and Philly. And that means Philly would have home court advantage. And this is really a toss-up because I can give very, very good arguments for both these teams winning out. But like I said, I'm not going to overthink it and use an emotional take. I'm just going to go with what makes sense. Philly has home court advantage. When all things look even, just go with the team that has home court advantage. And I got to take Philly over Golden State in 6. And Joel Embiid gets that elusive NBA championship. He might not have the MVP, but he will have at least a finals MVP after the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. Martez Barbie says, what has Philly shown you in the playoffs? They haven't. This exact team hasn't shown me anything in the playoffs. Because this exact team is constructed, they haven't played any games, not with this actual unit. He says he got to get a ring after he cried for MVP. Yeah, I mean, I believe he gets one. All right. He says, nah, not with Harden. I mean, y'all can say that. Philly, if healthy, they do have a solid roster. Yeah, they do. I think they have one of the best rosters, if not the best roster. So I'm going to lock my pick in, y'all. I locked my pick in. So now y'all see all my picks. I can't go back and change them. I can't go do nothing. My picks are locked in. So now it's on y'all. Can y'all lock y'all picks in so that y'all not over the place? Because it seems like every year when we have two unlikely teams in the NBA Finals, there's always somebody saying, I picked them. I picked the Chicago Bulls to get to the finals. I don't know what you're talking about if the Bulls get there. Like, you always had these crazy people talking about, I picked this. All of a sudden, Golden State wins it last year. Now everybody picked Golden State to get to the NBA Finals when nobody had them there when the playoffs started. He says, Maxey, Harden, Embiid, Tobias wasn't there yet. Yes, he was. What do you mean wasn't there last year? They were. They were there. But I'm not judging them. I'm not judging. I haven't judged any one of these teams based on things that they did last year. Maxey is now a year better. He's not the same player than he was last year. Harden is healthy. He's not the same player that he was last year. Harden is an MVP candidate. Embiid is arguably having his best season in the NBA ever. He's a better player offensively and defensively this year. Right? Tobias Harris is more locked in on his role. He's not out there chucking up 18 shots a game. He has another role in his team, and he's filling that void. This is a different team. You might be looking at the same players, but this is still a different team. You got to judge these teams on a game-to-game, week-by-week basis. If you start going all the way back to last year, oh, this dude choked. Well, this is how your predictions get thrown in the garbage can. Right? Like I said, because remember, y'all, Ticket does this all. Remember, if you think back to last year, Ticket spent 3/4 of the year trying to convince everybody how overrated Steph Curry was. He actually spent the entire year doing it. And then what happened? See, because Ticket was judging the Golden State Warriors off what he saw that year before as a team, as opposed to just looking to what the Golden State Warriors were doing right then in the moment. And then the Golden State Warriors proceeded to waltz through the Western Conference, get to the NBA Finals, and win it. And so now all of the stuff that you used to try to paint Steph Curry as, the stuff that you were using from the year prior when they weren't as good, because you weren't paying attention to how well they actually became, now you look like a fool because you spent a whole year denigrating them as opposed to really looking at what that team was in the moment and giving them a fair shake. So I'm giving all these teams a fair shake based on what I've seen. With the Lakers, what did I say with the Lakers? Why I have them losing to Memphis in the first round? It's because over the last week, they have not played like a team that's going to get out the first round. I've tried to be clear about these things, right? I've tried to be clear, and I'm not going to use bias or fandom from years prior when players might have let you down or cost you money on some of these betting sites. I'm not going to use that to muddy my judgment when I'm evaluating these teams. I'm going to try to be as fair as possible, right? I desperately wanted to pick Golden State just because I like Golden State's style of play. I like Draymond Green. I like Steph Curry. I like Klay Thompson. But based on what I've been seeing this year, I don't see this Golden State Warrior team. I don't see them beating the Philadelphia 76ers as constructed, y'all. So there we have it right there. We got our picks in, man. Hopefully you guys got your picks in. Hopefully. All right, we're gonna be looking forward to seeing how these games unfold. Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawks. That game's about to tip off. If you haven't done so already, I think I got the link right here. I've put my picks in. To Prize Picks, right? Prize Picks is one of the absolute best resources. It's one of the best ways to bet on basketball because you're only betting the over or the under. The over or the under. You can go 6-pick parlays, 5-pick parlays, and you can win money very easily. You just going over or under points, over or under rebounds. The basic stuff that we all can forecast. Y'all need to click that link, sign up for Prize Picks today. They're gonna match any deposit that you put down. Right. And if you put down a deposit in of $25 or more, they're just gonna give you $100 of free play just to play with. So y'all need to click that link, go sign up to play Prize Picks today, man. One of the best daily fantasy sports apps on the market, man. Y'all need to go check them out, man. We're going to be wrapping this one up, y'all. Salute to Tanner McFanner. Says, where can we watch the play-in? Well, shit. You can't. Hey, normally we would be showcasing it over here. I can't today because I got to tend to some business. So make sure you come back for the rest of the play-in games and the playoffs. But I would assume that you can actually watch the game probably on ESPN or one of those channels, TNT. I don't know which one it's going to be on, but I'm sure you'll find it. And also on Facebook, I'm sure there's a couple streams you can go check in on the game with. Salute to Mac Def as well. See you in here. Kirk Roy says also worthy and always got the best of free agents. Mac Def says Curry's a better passer than KD. That's facts. Tiffany Ness said the game is on TNT. So if you want to watch that game, make sure you're tuning in to TNT to check the games out, man. Atlanta Hawks, Miami Heat is going to start today. And like I said, don't be surprised if Atlanta can win this game. They got Trae Young. They got a guy. I mean, obviously things haven't gone the way they wanted. I thought the pairing with DeJounte Murray was going to be a little bit smoother. I thought we was going to see a little bit more success, but I think Trae Young is still falling into the same issues that have been haunting him his entire career. Hopefully he can get it fixed. He says, what website did you use to complete your bracket? Oh, I just go to NBA.com. You can just go to Google, type in NBA Pick'em Bracket Challenge. And you go enter your bracket. And like I said, some of you guys think y'all brackets is correct. Go put your bracket on NBA.com. They're giving away cash prizes if you're accurate. If you're accurate, you're going to get some cash money. So y'all call my picks crazy. Go make some money off yours for free by going to NBA.com. NBA.com. Sign up for the Pick'em Bracket Challenge, man. Just create an account, lock your picks in, and screenshot your picks. Send them to us. Screenshot Screenshot your picks, send them to us, and I'll put them on the community post. Right? I'll put them on the community post, and at the end of the season, we'll come back and revisit them. We'll see who had the best picks and selections from round to round basis. So it is what it is. He says you ain't making none. He says you have the Golden Girls. What? I don't get what you're saying, LBJ. LBJ, you seem very mad that I didn't pick the Lakers, man. I don't know why y'all mad. Salute to Brian 8 in here as well. He said, I think the Bulls going to blow the Raptors out in their own crib. I think the Bulls just match up better. They always give the Raptors problems. And the Raptors, I don't know. It's just going to be hard to win with Fred VanVleet as your point guard. DeMar's return to Toronto. Is it truly his return to Toronto? I would assume in the playoffs, yeah. It's craziness, man. It's going to be a very, very good playoff. Look, you guys, man, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get this one shut down. I definitely appreciate you guys pulling up to the live stream. NBA playoff predictions. You guys see my predictions. I want to see yours. If you want to go to NBA.com and do a pick'em bracket challenge, what I want you guys to do is I want you to take a screenshot of your picks using the share button, right? And you can email that to me at fyfsports@gmail.com, fyfsportsdebates@gmail.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your screenshots and I'm going to put them on our community posts. So at the end of the year, we can see who made the best predictions from round one, from play-in to round one, all the way to the end. All right. Just a little friendly competition right there. Like I said, since y'all calling me crazy, I want to see how some of y'all picks hold out. All right. And this way y'all can't flip-flop and backtrack and say you made selections that didn't exist. So make sure y'all do that. The email's in the chat. I'll give you guys time to get it jotted down. But y'all go over to NBA.com. Get your brackets created. I want to get a lot of y'all picks on the community post. Hey, salute to Herman Body, man. Jason Brown. Appreciate you guys pulling up, man, listening in to the channel today. Like I said, my apologies for not going live as much over the last week. Just trying to get this season over with here at GCU, man. It's been a wild season. We 25-4 right now. We took a disappointing loss in the Pacific Regional semifinals. We still got one shot to get it done. We're going out to – actually, I'm going to be going out to the D.C. area from Thursday to Monday. I'm going to be linking with LVZ. So I'm going to link with out there. If anybody else is out there in the College Park area, because we're going to be at the University of Maryland, y'all make sure y'all hit me up on Instagram. Man, we can have a little collab with some of you guys. Maybe you can link with the team and whatnot. But like I said, just let me know on IG. Man. We'll make it happen. I'll be out there. But that's our last tournament of the year, and then we got it. Then we're gonna get locked back in, laser focus on this NBA season. Reg Dog says, Lamont, the Sixers, huh? Yes. It's probably gonna be wrong, Reg Dog. I'm not gonna act like I expect my picks to be perfect. I understand that by the time these things play out, I can't predict injuries. Joel Embiid goes down with an injury and the Sixers lose. Y'all gonna be like, oh, the Sixers lost. Well, I can't predict some things. I can't predict injuries. AD goes down. I can't. I got that pick wrong. KD gets hurt and the Suns don't advance. Okay, you're probably gonna be wrong. Like, we can't predict everything, bro. And if I could, I promise you, Reg Dog, if I had an all absolute formula for predicting all this stuff, I wouldn't be on YouTube. I'd be in Vegas right now. I'd be a very rich person. I'll be betting every single game if I had the formula that you guys say y'all have. You said how you submit your bracket. Here, let me just put the link in the chat. If you want to put a bracket in, I want y'all to screenshot them and send them to me. Either send them to me on IG or email them to me. Look, there's the link right there. Click that link. It's gonna take you to NBA.com. You can do your bracket today. Get your brackets in, man, and then send me a screenshot of your picks. I'm putting them all on a community post, and I'm putting your YouTube name next to it. We're gonna see how good some of you guys are. Right? Y'all say y'all basketball aficionados. We gonna find out. Look, I'm gonna drop it one more time so y'all say y'all, so you don't say you don't got it. Bracket challenge right there. Click that link. Head over to NBA.com. Right? You see any surveys? Let them know FYF sent you. You said the Heat down 8 right now. Yeah, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Ha said he going undefeated, man. Y'all be wild with these picks, man. Look, I'm done thinking that my bracket or whatever I pick is gonna be perfect. It be always some BS going on. Right? I think this might be the third year in a row where I have the Sixers in the finals. Infamous said, Lamont, stop hating on the Raps. Who do you see as the biggest upset? I already picked my biggest upset. I can take you over here to my brackets. I can show you. My biggest upset is right here, Infamous. Right here. I got the Miami Heat beating the Boston Celtics in the first round of the NBA playoff. That's my biggest upset right there. Now, it's going to require Miami winning today. But you never know. Will it be an upset if the Lakers beat Memphis? Yeah, that'll be an upset. And when the 2 seed loses to a 7, that's an upset. It's not a true upset like we saw in the past, but it's still an upset. You know, but I mean, if you're Memphis and you get sent home by LeBron James and Anthony Davis, I mean, it's probably not going to feel like the upset, but it's still an upset. The higher seeds are supposed to win. The better teams in the NBA are supposed to win. Jared Thomas says Harden is a choker, Lamont. No, he's not a choker. Y'all say that. There's really no facts to really support that. So we just got to see, man. We just got to see, man. Like I said, y'all click that link. I want to see y'all picks. Terrible Christian Gamer says, I'm a little biased with the Dubs, but I truly believe they will win. You know, you can't go wrong with them. I mean, if you talk about the team with the most championship level experience, the team with the most playoff experience, right? This is a Golden State Warrior team that is on like a 10-year stretch of winning a game on the road in the playoffs. The one thing that the Warriors are basically guaranteed is that they're going to steal one on the road. It's just a matter of when. These are some of the things that give them this big significant advantage. Do I see the Hawks moving off Trae Young? No. Hell no. That's just noise getting thrown out there, probably by Trae Young's camp. There's no team in the world that's just going to publicly come out and say, right before a team enters the playoff and say, yeah, we just okay Trae Young. That's all noise coming from Trae Young's camp. Trae Young wants to get traded. The Hawks don't want to trade Trae Young. But Trae Young's probably tired of being there. And just like we heard Damian Lillard's frustration in his last little press conference with Portland. He said he's tired of playing with guys that's 2 and 3 years away. I mean, he's starting to feel that, okay, it's time to really start locking in, trying to get something done. Give me a real shot. Jared, losing in the playoffs is not choking in the playoffs. James Harden has lost in the playoffs. Losing and choking are two different things. Kirk Royce says, love our Blazers to get Bam. I would too, but I just don't know if we have the resources to go get him. And we got to start, Blazers got to start signing free agents. They can't keep giving up all of their young talent year after year after year, just swapping young talent for other guys. You're just staying stagnant. They're going to have to find a way to keep Sharp. You probably want to keep him. You got to find a way to keep Jeremy Grant, even though he's injury prone. Let's see. A lot going on, man. But look, y'all, man. It's FYF Sports, man. Another great podcast episode. My picks are in. Make sure you guys get y'all picks in, man. I can't wait to see what y'all got in store. I'm ready to see y'all picks. Cause I'm gonna be laughing at some of y'all picks when y'all wrong. Cause I know a lot of y'all about to be wrong. Infamous said, "Why no one took a shot for Boogie Cousins?" I don't know. Maybe they thought he would be a cancer on the bench. I mean, look, Infamous. Now that I'm in coaching, I now see how toxic bad energy on your bench can be. It can eat a team alive. And if teams feel that Boogie Cousins is not going to be a good bench presence, or he's going to get to complaining, or he's going to have guys crying to refs and they're not going to be locked in, they're not going to bring him in. And I believe that's what's happening. Like, if he's going to come in, they're not going to be bringing him in to play 30 minutes a game. He's probably going to be coming in to play 5, maybe 10 minutes a game. What is he doing the rest of the time? What is his role those other 30 minutes of the game? Mike Larry says, I cannot wait for LeBron to be crowned king. I mean, his name is LeBron, and LeBron in African means king, so he's already king. Another reason why I don't know why people get mad at LeBron for calling himself king. That's what his name means. It's an African word. It means king. That's facts, Cuba. He ain't been the same. All right, y'all. Looks like we about to thin out there. All right, salute to everybody watching from Twitch, from the rest of the chat over there. Definitely appreciate y'all pulling up today here on FYF Sports. We're going to go ahead and get to some shutdown. Y'all enjoy the games. Make sure y'all pull up the Player's Choice tonight. Player's Choice tonight, I'm going to be pulling up over there to link with those guys. And we'll just have to see how these games go, man. Hopefully we get the outcomes that we want. But I'm telling you guys right now, don't be surprised if we see the Lakers and a team like the Miami Heat both lose and then they're playing. Player's Choice, they're going to be going live right after the Laker game. They're going to be doing a late live tonight. So they're going to be going live tonight, Cuba. So you don't want to miss that. He says this season, this the season where they end the debate with Jordan and Bron. Let's go Lakers. You know, I was saying something to Herm the other day on his channel. See, I said this on Herm's channel the other day, and I should have did a video about it because, man, there were a lot of people had to have been listening in, and a lot of people stole my concept because I saw like 4 or 5 videos pop up about this exact statement. And I'm like, man, I should have did a video about it because I'm the originator of this take. But while we sitting here talking about LeBron James, let's not act like Steph Curry's not still actively playing. This is what I said. Because I said, if you take the bias glasses off, Steph Curry still has an opportunity to not just be top 5. He's already bullied himself into the top 10. But Steph Curry has the potential to ultimately end up as the GOAT. Like, while we sitting here, a lot of people are foaming at the mouth over LeBron. They foaming at the mouth over Jordan's career. And all the while you foam, Steph Curry is consistently putting in work on a year in, year out basis. He quietly has 4 championships. I want to ask yourselves this right here, Cuba Starks, before we head out. And Twan to go. I'm not Twan. This question's for everybody in the chat before we head out. If the Warriors three-peat, and I know it's not likely. This is why I say his GOAT case is not likely, but it's still like a 2 to 3% chance it being there because he's still actively playing at a high level. But if the Warriors three-peat and Steph Curry is the primary piece as to why they're three-peating, if he three-peats, How will Steph Curry not have an argument to be in the GOAT conversation? That means obviously he have to win this year. He will have to win next. Is it easy? No. Is it very likely? No. But could it potentially happen? Yes. And so what I'm saying is, with him having 4 right now, if he three-peats and finishes with 6, come on, man. With the MVPs, with all the accolades, he's going to be in the conversation. That's what I'm saying. So let's not get so caught up on this LeBron thing as LeBron's on his way out the league that we forget that it's still players like Steph Curry actively playing with a ridiculous resume. I'm talking about ridiculous resume. And he's still adding to it. Eddie A says it's because Steph Curry, the GOAT debate between LeBron and Jordan is still in the air. It's still in the air. But what I'm saying, Eddie, is that we've been so locked in on LeBron that we've been forgetting about the individual greatness of a player like Steph Curry. And this is why when you hear people talk about Steph Curry, oh, all he do is just shoot threes. But then when he come out and play your favorite team, he get to slicing and dicing you, getting to the basket, and ones, threes, mid-range jumpers, a flurry of all types of stuff. And he done eliminated your favorite team from the playoffs. Come on, man. Y'all got to stop. That man is more than just a shooter. So that's going to be a topic of conversation in one of these upcoming videos because nobody's really giving him that. I think he deserves that much respect. I believe he's bullied his way into the top 10. He still has a case to be top 5. If he adds a little bit more to his resume, he's still playing at a high level. Unlike LeBron James, there's a decline. We're actively seeing a decline with LeBron. We have yet to see that decline with Steph Curry. And that's what I'm saying, Twan Goat. That's your bias making you say that. When you say Curry can win 7 and he still won't be a debate, that's because you don't want to accept reality. You just want whoever your GOAT is, Jordan, anybody, you just want him to be at the top. It's not necessarily going to be about not being biased and really evaluating Steph Curry's career. I mean, y'all can say that, but that's what I said. If you remove all bias out of it, get your feelings out of it, and we really start evaluating his career. He says Curry's not going to pass Shaq or Duncan. Okay, yeah, y'all can say that. You can say he's not. Curry's still a top 10 player in the league, and it don't look like he's on no decline. And if he wins another championship or wins another 2 championships, and the crazy thing is the fact that he's still playing, he could win more than that. We don't know where his career is going to land. But the one thing that I do know is that he's still playing, and he's top 10 all time. He can only go up from here. And if you say otherwise, if you're not giving him that much, then you're just hating him. You're just trying to find ways to not put him in your top 10. All these, y'all be putting players with very subpar resumes over Steph Curry. Like right now, there's no way I can say that I still have Oscar Robertson over Steph Curry. I had Oscar Robertson at 10. There's no way I can honestly look at their skill sets as individual players and their careers and say that Oscar Robinson's still ahead. Because what y'all going off of is y'all are simply going off of who's the better individual player, who has the better 2K rating. I've always said that all-time great rankings have nothing to do with who's the better player. It's your ability to play basketball and how were you able to shape out the best career possible. This is why it's easy for me to put Bill Russell and those guys up in the top 10. Star Child says Curry's not a top 5 player. That's fine. I don't think he's a top 5 player yet. He's definitely a top 10 player. And he's still playing at a high level, which means he has a chance to move up. You can't just put him in the top 10 and just say, oh, he can't move up no more. That makes no sense. Everybody said he is top 5 in today's game. Probably. Oh, Steph Curry's been better than Iverson. Yeah, that's been. Curry winning the chip again. Tamo. Salute to Tamo. Looks like a new subscriber to the channel. Salute to Cam, the Hooper as well. Some of y'all pulling up late, man. Y'all missed my NBA Finals predictions, man. Y'all gonna have to rewind this video back and check them out. He said today he's definitely top 5. Debatable. That's not debatable with Steph Curry. He is top 5. All right. I mean, if you're going off careers. We got the Knicks will be 2026 champs. He said, sorry to tell you, Cavs ain't beating the Knicks. Yeah, you must be out of your mind. If you really think the Knicks can get past the first round, you got to be smoking. He says if Curry wins and can he be the best? But Herm, when did we ever start having these generation debates? That's all fake news. It seems like y'all only want to have these generation debates to really close the door on really comparing Curry to players like Magic or Bird. Or Moses Malone, or Dr. J. A lot of the players that people like to hold on to from the 80s. Y'all try to keep a safe space for the players of the 80s so they can always have a safe spot in the top 10. Oh, Curry can't catch Bird. Curry ain't going to never be better than Bird. Why? Curry can't do nothing to get better than Magic. Curry ain't never going to catch Magic. Why? Why? Y'all created these safety zones for certain players. And so now in y'all mind, certain players can't get passed up. That's all it is. And then when you hear somebody say, okay, Curry passed Magic up. Okay, Curry passed Bird up. Y'all completely go berserk. How did Curry pass Magic? Well, Curry's a better basketball player than Magic, one. If you're strictly talking basketball. And Curry's starting to shape out a better career than Magic with better longevity. Unfortunate that Magic had to retire early, but that's the unfortunate reality of retiring early. It's going to hurt you in these conversations. He says, Jared Newsom says, nah, Curry not in front of Magic. He need another. No, he don't need all that. He don't need all that. Because even if he gets another Finals MVP, y'all not. If you keep saying that Curry just needs one, if you say Curry just needs one award to pass Magic, that means you already believe Curry's better than Magic. You just trying to find some reason to say, oh, nah, he not better than Magic. Because if Curry won another Finals MVP, you just gonna find some other award to say, well, Curry ain't got no assist title, so he can't be better than Magic. Oh, Curry not a true point guard, so he can't be better than Magic. It don't matter what Curry do. Y'all put these little frivolous little barriers in front of Curry. He has to do this for me to consider him the best. No, he don't. That means you already really think he's the best. I believe Curry is already top 10 all time. And if you don't have Curry top 10, it's going to get to a point where it's mandatory that he's in your top 10. You're going to have to find somebody that you're willing to boot out. I'm taking Curry over Magic any day of the week. Any day of the week. All right, y'all. Look, we going on 5 o'clock here. We already went 30 minutes over schedule, y'all. I ain't gonna keep y'all too long. I know the games is on. Make sure y'all go tune in to TNT. Go check out the games. My picks are in. It's time for you to get y'all picks in. Before y'all slide up out of here, make sure y'all hit the Cash App. Support the channel. $ FYF Sports, man. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App to support the channel. Like I said, YouTube is making it extremely difficult to monetize these platforms. If you've been watching YouTube, you've been seeing mass waves of YouTubers lose their monetization or have to turn their monetization off. And that's because YouTube's just made it extremely difficult for anybody to make ad revenue. So when you guys actually give to these platforms and you give to us, when you join our memberships and things like that, it's just a way, not just to show appreciation, but to keep the channels afloat. Because it takes a lot of work to keep these channels going. Herm is starting to do his own thing over on Ticket Channel. So he's starting to now see the work it takes. And he's not even doing a lot of the leg work. But I'm sure there's just a lot of work you have to do just in managing a StreamYard and then being able to carry a conversation for 2-3 hours locked in and not letting it get out of control. Yeah, but y'all, with FYF Sports, another great podcast episode. Appreciate you guys being here. We will be back with more sports and news. But until then, it's FYF Sports. And we out.